So once again, Hoop fans, Lori Shepard coming to you.
We're going to talk a lot about fantasy football rankings. I want to give the biggest shout out to high school sports.
Belly cut the defender, gets the ball, and it falls at the buzzer!
Welcome in to Four Quarters, brought to you live on our Four Quarters Facebook page, Aired Out Facebook page, and of course brought to you by Fly on the Wall Productions. Welcome to Martin Luther King Day on this Monday. I'd just like to read a quick insert here. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we're often reminded of the great civil rights leaders' words, and rightly so. Dr. King was a gift to call out long-standing injustices, rally the nation's conscience, and spark lasting change. A quote by Dr. King that I really just want you guys to listen to and just think about the world today. A quote from Dr. King: "Use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself." And it's his birthday today, too. Mm-hmm. CB, do you want to add to that?
Well, he would have been 95, so today is one of the few days that it actually lands on his birthday. My biggest thing is, a lot of people remember Dr. King as, he always did the nonviolence, the sit-ins, the protests, but he really was a revolutionary.
100%.
A lot of people hated him back then, including the FBI and the government, who were actively trying to take him down. So,
which I firmly believe back then, in that day and age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the FBI sent him a letter telling him basically to kill himself in, 64. So a couple of quotes that I really love about him, from him, are: "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And then a little tongue-in-cheek: "We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity."
Thank you for reading that one, because that was going to be the second one I read.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'll stick to one of his quotes, the other quote, and I'm glad that's was
a
the
great
one you said. That one should resonate loudly.
Yes.
Especially in the year of the election.
Yep.
Very true.
Very
Very
true.
true.
For that, for sure.
So happy birthday and happy MLK Day. It's not just a day off. I mean, we all enjoy the day off.
I didn't get to. Did you guys get to enjoy the day off? I'm very glad.
There is a reason for this day off.
Yes,
and
agreed.
Please take time to remember him and remember what he stood for. And we have a lot going on.
A lot. Mondays.
And I don't know if anyone's going to view, because there's a football game going on. CB updated score was 14-0.
Yep.
14-0. So a little home cooking there for the Buffalo Bills, who in my eyes are the hottest team in football right now. Anyway,
I wouldn't want to go play in Buffalo right now. The weather they had there.
Oh, yeah.
They took a lot of heat for moving that game, but seriously, people, you literally could not see.
No.
The governor was very smart to do that.
There's a
kudos.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with it being cold, nothing to do with it was literally you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. So,
Exactly.
Steelers are in the red zone, though.
I will tell you this. I got to get amped up because I'm exhausted from listening to Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp for the last hour. I had to walk away. I went and got a quick workout in. I was like, there's sometimes I'm like, let's just put them on our studio and they can take on the three of us, just those two. Because Dan Orlovsky is wonderful.
I do love him.
You can talk to him.
Yep. Yes.
And Shannon Sharp's gotten better. Stephen A. Smith, you can't talk to him. You can't talk to him.
No.
But before we dive into the world of sports, we're going to stick quickly with some scores because we haven't been on since last Wednesday.
Yep.
So I'm going to run down recap some high school scores. We're going to start with late last week. We've got Twinfield Cabot 35, Blue Mountain 31. At that point, Twinfield was undefeated on the season. And this is girls basketball, led by Alice McLean with 13 points, Kendall Fowler with 8, Hazen 78, BFA Fairfax 19. We should probably talk about scores in high school.
Yeah,
and
it's
one entire show.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kelsey Rivard with 20 points to lead Hazen. North Country. Oh no, I'm not even going to read that score.
No.
There. How's that?
Yep. I like it.
Not even going
I like
local.
it. Valid.
Yep.
I like
Thank
it.
you. Moving on, we've got Spalding High School girls in a Thursday night game, crosstown rival game with the U32 Raiders. The Crimson Tide came out on top 42-32 to even their record at 4-4. They turned around on Saturday and played Linden Institute Vikings, one of the top 5 teams in the division, and the Vikings came away with a 35-27 win, hard-fought victory by the Vikings. The Williamstown Blue Devils, I've been giving them a lot of shout-outs this year. A game over the weekend, or was this Friday night? It was a big game. Twinfield Cabot came in undefeated, and the Blue Devil girls came away with a 47-26 win to move to 6-1, giving Twinfield their first loss of the season, which Williamstown's been doing that
Right?
a lot.
I feel
this
like
season.
I feel like in the beginning when the season started, nobody thought about Williamstown.
I went to a scrimmage, and I think this is the second time I've mentioned it, but I'm going to do it again, where they were playing White River Valley, a D3 school, and I watched that Williamstown team, knowing it was just a scrimmage, but 1 through 8, 9, just and the way they play the game, and the point guard, Destiny Campbell, I'm like, this team's going to the odd, and I stand by that. I'm actually at the point of stamping them in the finals against West Rutland, but we're not even at the halfway point. Saturday, the U32 girls again with a 41-34 loss to Fairhaven. But that's 41-34.
Right? That's a victory for them.
The Slaters are the number 1 seed right now in Division 2, undefeated.
Yeah.
So kudos to the U32 Raider girls. In boys basketball, we've got the Harwood Union boys at 7-3 on the season, with a 72-48 victory over the Spalding Crimson Tide. And this little nugget I'm going to throw in there, it was a 83-42 win by the Hazen Union Wildcat boys team
Big win
over Randolph. And that also, we're going to tell you that Xavier Hill had 14 points, 13 rebounds, and 15 assists in helping his uncle, Coach Aaron Hill, become the 8th boys basketball coach in Vermont to reach 400 victories.
That's a lot. That's a lot of long years of coaching. That is having great teams. That's having great players.
That's just it. That's
being
building
consistent.
a program that doesn't ever have a down year.
Correct. Yeah, and Xavier Hill, the 15 assists he had is a school record. Also in that game, Brendan Moody, their sharpshooter, had 26 points. Oh, man. 5 3-pointers in the third quarter alone.
Oh, my God.
So, also, what makes that victory even more special, every single player on that roster in Hazen scored a point in that game.
Solid.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, it's like,
Isn't
it's
that
perfect.
amazing?
It's like, for him to get for the 400th win and they all contribute something, like
that is
gives you chills just thinking about it. So
100%. 100%. So congrats to Coach Aaron Hill, and it won't be long before we're talking about 500 victories.
For sure.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about another state championship, but to be determined. We are approaching the halfway point of the season. A few more scores to throw out. The Montpelier girls basketball team with a 36-26 win over Oxbow to get to 4-4 on this season, and Ireland Donahue with 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 steals in that Spalding U32 game. A shout out to Taylor Keel, 13 points, and Clara Wilson, 12 points. Those are the 2 point guards for their respective ball clubs. Looking back at some boys' scores from January 10th, the Montpelier High School boys basketball team continuing their winning ways with a 59-49 victory over North Country. Carson Cody with a very cool 29 points, 6 threes on the night. We're going to shift to the U32 boys basketball team. They had a loss late last week to Woodstock, 56-42, for first-year coach John Meadows to go to 3-5 on the season. And I had the honor of sitting with Carl Parton, calling the game with him Friday night for CVT Sports, where U32 was looking for their first win of the 2024 year.
Oh, okay.
0-3 in 2024, and they came away with a very impressive win over Linden Institute, 64-50.
Nice.
To improve to 4-5, 4-0 at home. 0-5 on the road.
Ooh.
Home cooking.
Home cooking is
Home
what we
cooking.
kept saying, and that included 9 3-pointers in that game
Wow.
by Mislak and Zylanga. They were on fire in that
Wow.
game. So big shout out to the U32 boys basketball team getting that first one to 2024, and I've looked at their schedule, and they could get on a little bit of a winning streak. One game I just want to throw out in because I was looking forward to this, and this was from Thursday night, where the Thetford girls and the Windsor Yellow Jacket girls played, and that is the state championship game from last year in
Yep.
Division III. And I love Division III. Always have. Coached for 15 years in D3. Such a solid division. And I keep looking at Hazen. I keep looking at Windsor. I keep looking at Thetford. Windsor is the 2-time defending champs, I believe. So in my head, I'm like, well, they got to get the monkey off the back.
Right.
It was a double overtime game.
Nice.
Love that.
Thetford comes away with the win 58-53, giving Windsor their first loss of the season, because before that game, Windsor had outscored their last two opponents 123-31.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Wow. Yeah. What? The disparity in the division
Nice.
is like.
With saying that,
That's crazy.
Windsor is so balanced. I'm just going to, and I love to give kids a shout out. Sophia Rockwood, 23 points, 5 rebounds.
That kid's
Sydney
legit.
Perry, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 6 steals. Audrey Rupp, 7 points. So the scoring, it's just very balanced scoring, and it goes beyond those three.
Yeah.
You look at Thetford, Whitney Lewis, 19 points, Charlize Brown, 13 points, Kelsey Boogie, 11 points. What you don't hear on that, and this is what breaks my heart, Addie Cadwell, one of the best players in all of Vermont. Love watching this kid play. Tears her ACL in that game.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking at it going, I don't understand. So I go to my source.
Yeah.
I'm not the high school source. Gracie Martin is. Coach, you heard, right? And I'm like, what? You heard what happened to Addie in that game, that big double overtime game. Tears her ACL her senior year.
Oh,
This
heartbreaking.
kid is so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch. In last year's Final Four, they went up against Hazen, and Addie Cadwell and Caitlin Davidson from Hazen are the same type of player.
wow. Must have been a
They
good battle.
are rugged as they come. They play both ends of the floor, and it was a battle between those two. Obviously, it goes beyond those two. Thetford last year having the better supporting cast. This year, I do think Davidson has the better supporting cast. But losing Addie Cadwell, they'll still be there.
For sure. But
heart breaking.
that's tough, and that's tough for her team to
You have
I'm
to
sure their hearts
regroup.
were breaking too. They had to regroup and in a tough game like that. So kudos to them and their coach for
and getting the win.
Yeah.
And the coach is Coach Cadwell. That is her daughter that just tore her ACL. So they regrouped, went on to win, which shows you the mettle of the team and what this team is worth. But that's still tough.
Yeah.
And it's tough not for the team. I mean, it's tough for the team, but it just breaks my heart when this happens to a senior.
Yeah.
Breaks my
Especially,
heart.
yeah.
My shout down, Draymond Green returns tonight. That's it.
And that's
all I got for
it.
you.
And that's all we got.
16 games without him. They were 7-9. They are 18-21 in the 12th seed. I didn't know that.
They're struggling. They're talking about cleaning house there. Everyone but Curry's available is what I heard. So, yeah.
Wow.
So we'll see. I mean, the
Valid.
NBA trade deadline is February 8th, I think.
Okay, so not far.
No.
It's around the corner.
So there's going to be
who
some
wants to
people
go?
moving.
Shout outs first.
I'll go.
You can go.
I haven't done a shout out. Okay, so they finally announced the U.S. Women's Player of the Year, finally. And it was Naomi Girma, which I think me and Wheels were rooting for from the very
100%.
get-go.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
Which was nice when they first named all of the nominees. There were 4 defenders and then the 2 forwards, Sophia Smith and then the midfielder Lindsay Horan. But they chose correctly because
Agreed.
let's face it, the offense was absolute shite this past summer. It was the defense that
Agreed.
carried the team. And Naomi Girma, 2022 Rookie of the Year and Defender of the Year, 2023 Defender of the Year, one of the best up-and-coming center backs, did not have a lot of national team experience, and that played every single minute of that World Cup.
Yep.
And just absolutely held it down. She is the U.S. Soccer is reporting that she's the first true defender to win this award in the 39 years that it's been around.
Really?
Most of them have been midfielders and forwards. Julie
It's
Ertz,
like a quarterback winning MVP.
Exactly.
Julie Ertz has won it twice, but it was always as a defending midfielder. But if you go back to like 88, 89, Joy Fawcett won it. Which, I mean, again, I was telling Wheels, I have limited memory of Joy Fawcett except for the 99 World Cup. But the only memory I have of her is as a right back.
Agreed. Me
So,
too.
Did
So
they just
I
forget
don't-
her?
Right.
I don't know. Shout out to Joy.
Yeah, right.
Did they just
more
forget her?
defender
that's
defender
great.
love. And she's the second black player to ever be named after Sophia Smith, who won it last year. So shout out to Naomi Girma.
Yes. I mean, I know you and I talked about her through the whole World Cup. Like, it could have been a bigger disaster without
absolutely.
her. I mean, in my opinion, her and Julie Ertz were the two best players on that field.
Hands down.
Each time.
Yep.
So, I was very happy to hear
Yeah.
that she won. 100%.
Same.
Much deserved. So,
Let's go.
Let's go, she says. That's your only shout out, bud?
Yeah.
That's worthy, right?
Yep,
To
that's
be
all-
here.
that's
That's
all-
it.
totally
that's all
worthy.
I was going to say that's
Only
worthy
thing.
to be the only one.
100% worthy.
I'm going to have to put the Bills up here now because
they're winning.
Yeah.
They just scored another
Go ahead, Wheels, all yours.
touchdown.
Okay. I'm just gonna piggyback off your high school scores. One
Love
score
it.
that I wanted to take note of: the Enosburg girls. They played Mount Abe Saturday. Enosburg won 57-46.
So tough.
Enosburg is we don't talk about them a lot. I mean,
We don't, but I can
Canadian
talk about
border.
them a lot if you would like, because my 15 years at Northfield, they were one of the toughest teams we'd have to play every year.
Oh, yeah.
And that bus ride to Enosburg, not to mention being one of the longest, Enosburg and Richford, but I just always had so much respect. The games were always so similar because hard-nosed black and blue games is all I'm going to call it.
Yep.
And since leaving Northfield, I constantly keep an eye out on them. Coach Gary Geddes has been there for quite a long time, and what a class act that man is.
Yes.
He is, and what a phenomenal coach. So
Yes.
I just wanted to
And-
chime in. Big fan.
my first memory of Enosburg, I played them in high school.
Yep.
Just one. No, we played there, and then they came to Otter Valley. Rowdy crowd.
Oh, very tough crowd.
Holy rowdiness. And I was having a game, like probably one of the best games I've ever had, and the crowd let me know that I sucked. And I've never heard chants against me ever in high school.
But you did up there.
But I
didn't you?
did up there.
Absolutely.
And
Doesn't surprise me
next
one
thing you
bit.
know it, I'm getting cold cocked side of the head by one of the players.
Yep.
Yep. And no foul called. Somehow they all missed it. Everybody missed it. But
Sometimes the officiating can be different up there,
Yep.
too.
Yep.
That's
Way
all I'm
different.
going to say.
So I was taken out of the game for safety precautions. We ended up losing just because Enosburg is just so good. They've always been.
They've
just
always
so
been
good.
so good.
But
The water's a little different up there.
it is. But when they came to Otter Valley, so they reviewed the footage of the game and they realized that the girl totally hit me on the head
Cold-cocked
on purpose. And so they were worried about us going at it again. So what we did on our end is we brought my sister up from JV.
There you go. I know where this is headed.
And her one job was to, when you go in there, you let her know you're in the game and you let her know they don't hurt your sister.
Yep.
So Crystal played about 45 seconds of glory. The kid went up for a layup. Crystal pushed her as hard as she could.
Yo.
Technical foul. Crystal was
She
done.
didn't care. She didn't
She
care.
did her job.
She did her job.
Little
Amazing.
sister defending her big
So
sister,
worth
but I
it.
tell
That
you
is
what,
amazing.
that
So
was her
worth it.
one job.
Yep.
Was
Oh
to
my
go in
God,
there
I
and just
love it.
show that girl you don't mess with your sister.
That is
she did.
amazing.
Amazing.
And they're always so good. We
Yeah.
were up there for a game one time, and they ran out of ambulances because they had to come to the school twice.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
So anyways, we digress.
Kayla Jobin says it's farm country up there. We play tough.
And
yes.
Kayla, you're right, because remember, I told you my mom is from Richford. My whole side of the Benosh family, my mom's side from Richford, I know how tough they are up there.
They are
I know
tough.
how tough you are, my friend, too.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
So anyways, Enosburg beats we all digressed. They beat Mount A 57-46. How about having a pair of sisters to carry you?
Right.
Lily Robtoy had 16 points. She's a senior. Her sister Lizzie Robtoy had 15 points, 13 for 14 from the line.
Oh, my God.
Free throws win games, people. They win games.
Wow. Well,
And she's a freshman. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run.
oh, my God. They're going to make a run. Gary's always got them.
Yeah.
They've always got
So
them.
just a shout out to them. But obviously, my shout out for Monday is for Caitlin Clark. Hello, people.
And there it is.
And it's the Caitlin Clark countdown. So I actually got to watch her on the Peacock Network
I did
against
too.
Indiana.
Yes.
3 versus 14.
That was an ugly game.
It was ugly, but Caitlin was wonderful. Of
84
course.
to 57. It wasn't even.
She notched her 9th 30-point game of the season.
Okay.
Her 52nd career double-double, 30 points, 11 assists. She is the only Division I player, male or female, to have 3,000 points, 900 assists, and 800 rebounds.
Let's go.
She is now 9 points away from 4th place all-time to pass Brittany Griner for 4th. And she's 253 points away from, I hate to say her name, but Kelsey Plum. And when she beats that record,
Went to Washington.
no one's ever going to be happier than me. So that's the Caitlin Clark. I know you're all wondering where she stands, so I like to update you.
I'm going to piggyback that.
We should bring a cake in for Wheels when that happens.
She shot 6 for 16 from three-point land in that game.
Shoot or shoot.
But let me just give a shout out to Molly Davis and Gabby Marshall.
Oh my God,
who
so good.
combined, thank you.
So good.
Shot 6 for 11 for what? They combined for 30 points in that game.
So good.
And let's give a shout out to Kate Martin with her 10 points and 12 rebounds, because she is a stud.
She's
in
a
the paint.
stud.
12 rebounds.
Yes.
That's all I was
Solid.
doing. I know I have to give a shout out to
Yeah,
some
of
other
course you
Iowa
do.
girls. Okay, that's
Yes,
all I was doing.
Iowa played awesome. Like, but the thing about Caitlin Clark, obviously going back, she distributes the ball.
She does.
Like, I think
does.
out of those
She-
3-pointers that those guys
She
had,
does.
she had their assists. I mean,
she passes with a little bit of mustard and ketchup
She
on
does.
her passes, which I love.
She does.
I
Yes.
actually was watching a freshman at Spalding that passes with a little bit of mustard
Yeah.
in the JV games so far this year. I'm like, love it.
Love it.
Nice.
Right?
Freaking love that.
Yep.
Love that, Cameron Sofin. I love it. Just
But
give
yes,
you a
Iowa
shout
played
out.
great. They played awesome. And then my other
did.
My other shout out, Juju Watkins, the phenomenal
Juju
freshman.
Watkins,
I'm telling you, man.
She's killing it.
Look out! If any, she could beat Caitlin Clark's record.
She
by
could.
the time
She
it's
really
all
could.
said
She's
and done.
just
She
a
really could.
freshman.
Because
Yep.
she's just a freshman. But number 9, are they 9? USC?
They were 9th.
Beat number
and
2.
UCLA was 2
Yep.
undefeated.
And undefeated, and they beat them. And she
And,
had 32.
32
Yep.
and 10 rebounds.
Yep.
Let's not forget about those 10 rebounds.
So
either.
women's basketball, you guys, is on fire right now.
Yes.
So
on
that-
fire.
Wheels is leading us into the second quarter, which is usually where we talk about college sports. And those were phenomenal shout outs because UCLA was undefeated going into that game, and it was all Juju Watkins and her team. Very confident,
Yes,
Juju Watkins.
very, yes.
And that moved Iowa from 3rd to 2nd, I believe, and it moved Colorado up to 3rd. So USC's got to be in there. I just had the top 3 before I left the house because Colorado actually at number 5 beat number 9 or number 7, Stanford,
yeah.
71 to 59, and we're all falling asleep on Colorado. I know I am.
Oh,
I know I haven't
100%,
seen them.
yeah.
So I'm like, we're sleeping on Colorado, who now shifts to 3, Iowa 2, South Carolina 1. We will talk about men's basketball just a little bit, but we're going to focus on the women's side tonight. Because the biggest thing to me, other than Caitlin Clark, is that number 7 LSU went down.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh wait, they're not in the top 25.
Right? Oh, wait.
The Auburn Tigers. So a humongous shout out to the Auburn Tigers, 67 to 62.
It was awesome.
I watched the game and I kept going, wow, Auburn's here to play. They're ready to play. Coming in, nothing to lose. 11-5 on the season, nothing at all to lose. Played them great right up until the half. I'm like, 40 minutes is such a long time. Third quarter, staying right with them. And I'm like, can they do this?
I know.
Can they do this for another? I even switched away, got on the elliptical, get a little nervous.
Yep.
You know, it was like watching Alabama and Michigan football all over again. And Jamya Mingo Young, God bless you. You came to play. And if I ever walked into a dark alley, she's my bodyguard. Because she's not very big, but what the whoa.
Yeah.
This is the first name. Honesty Scott Grayson. Somebody
Love it.
nobody has ever talked. I haven't mentioned her name, and shame on me. 21 points, 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
To match Angel Reese, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Anisha Morrow, to me, though, is the best player on that team. She's a freshman. 12 points, 15 rebounds. I watched, if you're really a basketball junkie like we are, you watch more than just the
Correct.
You watch the drama unfold.
Right.
So I'm like watching Angel Reese, very focused on her. She's getting banged around. She's not doing a lot of the drama stuff. Then she starts to just kind of make her, I don't know, she held her hand up once. I know it's because she has a ring, and I was like, don't start.
Yeah.
But then I started watching Haley Van Lith.
We haven't talked about much about her.
So the transfer portal from
Yep.
Louisville, the cream of the crop. I'm going to go play for the super team. I guess all she wants is that championship. So I ended up watching her the most. So she's out there, and they're pushing the ball in transition, Auburn is, and Van Lith is at the foul line, getting back in transition D, but she starts to sag back. So I think that was when Mingo Young just pulled up from the foul line, and Van Lith is from you to me, CB, 2 feet away, and she just nails it. Nice. And then something else happened. She got lost on a screen, Van Lith, and I'm like, why? I didn't know you didn't play defense.
Right.
So I'm learning more about the kid who never steps off the court for Louisville.
No.
Never has. She's going to score 20-some-odd points, and she'll have her assists. But I thought, wow, she can't play defense. No sooner do I get those words out of my mouth, she comes out of the game.
Wow.
She sits for a little bit. Mulkey puts her back in. Ball's at the top, so there hasn't been a ball side established yet. But the gal she's guarding is going from one side to the other, and she gets slammed into a screen again. So the ball side goes to the gal she's guarding. And she'd been in the game maybe a minute. She hits the shot from the baseline. Mulkey pulls her out again. And she's just going on the bench. So Angel Reese, they show her, and she kind of rolls her eyes. So I'm like, is she rolling her eyes at Van Lith coming out of the game?
Yeah.
Van Lith, I'm sorry, but Coach Mulkey's going to ask you to play defense.
Right. Yep. Right.
And that's what they talked about in pregame was this team needs to learn how to play defense.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm like, what is she rolling her eyes at? I'm
Right.
not sure. So continue to watch. Van Lith goes back in, plays a little bit more defense, a little bit better. She gets out in transition, hits a layup. She finishes with 3 points.
What?
And
For
1
the
assist.
game?
Wow.
Yeah. And as I watch them moving the ball around, and she's like motioning where people should go, and she's moving very well without the ball, giving her credit. They're not giving her the ball.
Wow.
And that's
Icing
all I have to
out?
say.
Are they icing her out?
I don't know. I saw some teammates high-fiving her and trying to keep her up on the sideline. Yes, Coach Mulkey's going to ask her to play defense because that's the Achilles heel right now of their team. So it was fun. It was fun to watch beyond the game.
Yeah. It was also fun to watch Angel Reese get the ball stolen from her, and that's how they iced it.
Yes.
Just throwing that little
Thank you.
tidbit out there.
That's a good one tidbit to
That
throw
also
out
made me
there.
kind of happy.
It's just so much fun watching the parody.
It
behind
is. It's awesome.
The parody. I know South Carolina's undefeated. They will not be undefeated all season. They do play LSU soon. I want to say in the next couple of weeks. And if I had to put money on a team, I would probably put it on LSU in that game, just because Angel Reese is going to bring it. But Haley Van Lith, you should have stayed at Louisville.
Right? You have to wonder if that kid's regretting it.
You
You went
have-
from being the player to now nobody even really talks about you.
the freaking player.
Yeah. I don't know. Grass isn't always greener, people.
It really, honestly, 100%, it is not. We're going to talk in the third quarter about Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, but I just want to throw in, because the last 3 minutes of this quarter, we have been talking about college sports, and holy crap, did they fill that Alabama position quickly, didn't they?
Holy.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I did not
And then they filled that
expect.
position quickly.
Right.
It was like domino effect.
It is
Yeah.
the two hottest coaching names
Yeah.
in college football. I did not expect Coach Kalen DeBoer to
No,
leave
me
Washington.
neither.
I'm going to be
Nope.
dead honest there. He is going to Titletown. I get that. He has the sixth best win percentage among active coaches. At 804. But I didn't see him leaving Washington. But he said I would be crazy not to go to
Valid.
Titletown.
I mean,
it's
to
a
go
great
to the
point.
greatest coaching position
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm reading that going, I guess
Yeah.
he's
You can't argue with that.
And Coach Jed Fish from Arizona, who I kept bragging
Yeah.
about all college season,
Yep.
because he inherited an 0-5 team out of the 2020 season, an 0-5 team, built them up in the last 3 years to a 10-win season this year. So Coach Jed Fish is leaving Arizona to go to the Washington Huskies.
Yep.
And that happened fast.
So fast.
Fish is getting we might as well just say $8 million a season to go to Washington. I didn't hear what
Easy $8
DeBoer
million.
is getting. I didn't hear.
We
But
pray.
only 49 years old is DeBoer. He's proven his worth at Washington.
Yep, for sure.
He's built a great program there. So I get it. But I was shocked. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
As we're talking about college coaches, it's been really quiet until until yesterday. On the Jim Harbaugh front, he is interviewing with the Chargers today.
Yep.
Still kind of quiet, though. Haven't really
Yeah.
heard a whole lot.
Yep.
Wheels said Caleb Williams is going into the NFL draft, which we expected, but that's the breaking news today.
So's McCarthy.
McCarthy the other day and Blake Corum are going into the draft as well. Noah McLean, my dear friend who I've called a lot of CVT sports games with, said that J.J. McCarthy is overrated. I'm never going to doubt anything Noah says, but you don't have to draft him in the first round.
No.
He is
He's
definitely not a first 3-round pick.
Right.
I don't think.
I
Not even
look
first
at draft him in the second or third round with a team that has a
Yep.
Kirk Cousins maybe
Right.
if he re-signs with the Vikings. But that's going to wrap it up in college sports for the first half or for the second quarter. We're going to try to, in the second half, we obviously have a lot to talk about with the NFL. But what I would like to talk about first is when we came on Wednesday, it was ginormous breaking news. It was huge.
Right.
That Nick Saban had retired.
Yep.
So within 12 hours, I know CB and I were at work. Within 12 hours, it was Bill Belichick stepping down from the Patriots. Not as surprising.
No.
Not as surprising at all. But I did like you talk about Bill Belichick's exit from New England. It was expected, but literally 12 hours after his close dear friend Nick Saban retires from Alabama. One is, I feel, retiring.
Yes.
Saban.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill Belichick, I do not think, there's no way he's retiring.
I don't think
No.
so. No.
There's just no way he's retiring. Bill Belichick is 14 wins away from becoming the all-time winningest coach in NFL football. But I also, more than that, and you guys can 100% disagree with me, more than that, I think Bill Belichick is on a mission to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. 100%.
So the cool thing is, though, there is a symmetry and a similarity in their goodbye. They're two football legends, men that are widely considered the greatest coaches in professional history, and the greatest coach, one, the greatest coach in professional history, the other, the greatest coach in college football history. Belichick helped lead the Pats to 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 Super Bowl titles. Saban led Alabama to 9 SEC titles and 6 national championships. And that is really impressive. I will say that.
So impressive.
His record, Nick Saban's at Alabama, 206 wins and 29 losses.
Wow.
Damn.
God.
At LSU from 2000 to
Unreal.
2004, 48 wins and 16 losses. And let's not forget, 6 championships at Bama. He also had one at
At
LSU,
LSU.
that I think
Yep.
we all forget about. Bill Belichick, like I said, 333 wins, 24 seasons
That's just unheard of these days.
I mean, for Vermonters, I'll put Aaron Hill on that plateau because of all the seasons. 6 Super Bowl titles, the 2007 season where he went undefeated, but there's this team called the New York Giants that did have his record. 19 consecutive winning seasons. He also was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns from 1991 to 1995. His record, and this obviously you got to look at the big picture, without Tom Brady, 83 and 104, which that goes back to Drew Bledsoe as well. So
right.
We're going pre-Tom Brady. After Tom Brady left New England, though, his record was 29 and 39. But the dude can flat out coach. $85 million a year is what he was getting from Robert Kraft and ownership. I don't know how deep that ownership goes, but 2 legends. We're never going to see it again.
No.
Of this magnitude.
Yeah, for sure.
Retiring within 12 hours or stepping down. Got to stop saying retiring. Stepping down. And also last week we talked about Pete Carroll.
Yep.
And it won every article I read since then. He literally pushed out the door.
Yeah.
Literally 100% at 72 years old, pushed out the door. And I tell you what, that guy's got a lot of energy.
He does.
I will say that about Pete Carroll.
He's not retiring. No. There's no way.
Here's the thing, though. I ask you, he's not retiring, but is somebody going to hire him at 72? Remember the offensive and defensive coordinators we talked about last Wednesday. The best quote I like from Bill Belichick, though, at his press conference, I look forward to coming back here to Foxborough.
Love it.
Oh.
And that was at his departure conference at Foxborough, Mass. And he did not take any questions after saying this. But at this time, we're going to move on. I look forward, and I am extremely excited for my future.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I loved those 2 quotes. I really did like those 2 quotes. Pete Carroll's quotes were, I'm not tired. I could sleep on a cot here.
Right.
I'm not tired. I'm ready to go, and I just need everybody to know I'm competent. I'm ready to coach. Just so you all know that, Pete Carroll made clear Wednesday it is not his idea to mutually part ways with the Seahawks.
We all knew that, though. We all figured that much.
And I said competent. He competes pretty hard to be the coach, just so you know it. He was ready. He said, my intention is to return. It's in my bones. Usually everyone says at this point of the season that you have to hit the reset button, re-energize, and he said, I'm fine. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
So we're talking about some guys in their 70s that can still coach this game. The team wanted to move on. Pete Carroll did not want to move on. So a big shout out.
To some
we're
legends.
never, ever going to, you know, I can be a long-suffering Dolphin fan that never wanted to cheer or always wanted to cheer against the Patriots.
Right.
I got so tired of them being in the Super Bowl. I thank God to the Giants for beating them.
Welcome.
The Eagles beat them once as well, taking away that undefeated season as a Dolphin fan.
Yep.
It's the only thing we can brag about.
Right.
But the dude is awesome. Tom Brady is awesome. Nick Saban is awesome. And I can't say anything else, but we had the honor of watching these 2 legends.
For sure.
Did I cheer against Alabama? Yes. Of course
we
I
did.
cheer
Of
against
course
New
we did.
England.
Of course we did.
But am I ever going to see two coaches like that again?
No. Respect the game.
Respect.
No freaking game.
Well,
No
that's
freaking
another,
way.
speaking of positions filled very quickly, the Patriots job was filled like that.
And they didn't have to go out and do how many interviews you have to do per the NFL rules because it was already in Gerard Mayo's contract. And I like the hire.
I do too.
I love
agree.
the hire.
Yep, young.
I give
such
a
young
big
guy.
ding ding to the New England Patriots for hiring Coach
Agreed.
Mayo, giving him his chance. You know we all love Mike Vrabel, but that was the right thing to do.
Yep.
I have to go back to college basketball one more time because I was talking about the women's top 3, but the men's. This is the first time the UConn Huskies men's have been ranked number 1 since 2009. Doesn't that blow your mind a little bit?
That's mind blowing.
That is a long
They were not
time.
ranked number.
14
They won
years?
the national title last year, but they were never ranked number 1 during the season.
That's crazy.
So
crazy.
back to Coach Jim Calhoun's day.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is fabulous. UConn is ranked 1, Purdue 2, Kansas 3,
UNC. Love it.
UNC 4th, and Houston 5. UNC is playing some great ball.
Yes, they are.
I need them to keep that going because it's still kind of early.
Yeah, I know.
But I need to give a big shout out to one of my favorite college coaches, Jamie Dixon of the TCU Horned Frogs. In 1 week, you knocked off number 9 Oklahoma and number 2 Houston in the Big 12. Way to go, Coach Dixon. And I promise, if you ever give me the chance to sit down and talk with you again, I won't run from you. 'Cause that's what happened. When he was coaching at the University of Pittsburgh, I ran into him at Madison Square Garden. It was a tournament in honor and memory of his sister, Maggie Dixon, who was a phenomenal coach in her days, too, who died suddenly of a heart attack. And I was the only one there with a University of Pitt basketball shirt on. And literally, we ran right into each other almost. Yeah. And he looked at my shirt and he goes, seriously? And I'm like, yep, totally. I always will cheer for you, Coach. You're a heck of a coach. And he just, I could tell, just wanted to talk. And I go, great to see you. And I ran away. Ran as fast as I could. Don't ask me why. All the dude wanted to do was talk basketball with me. And I ran from him. 6-pack of picks. We're going to give a big to CB right now.
CB killing it.
So as
Had
it
nothing
stands,
to lose. Had nothing to lose.
Right?
as it stands right now, CB has 64 wins total, counting the wild card weekend. Wheels has 63, and I have 65.
Damn.
We are 1-3.
We are not great.
She is 3-1.
Yeah, she is. Yes,
We
she is.
all have the Bills.
They're up
we-
21-0 currently.
21-7.
Oh, 21-7.
Wheels has
They
the
just scored
Eagles. CB and I both have the Bucks, so we will on Wednesday let you know the final outcome of that. Autry was going to call in, but we knew we had a lot to talk about. But more than anything, I want to talk to this guy after a Steelers game. I have a picture of Autry we can flash up that he sent me as I was leaving the house, and I knew he'd want to watch
The game.
the
Yeah.
Steelers game,
Oh,
because
for
he's
sure.
a bigger fan than I, meaning I never watch Miami because they break my heart all the time. He did just say, though, as we're on the air, he texted to say that he is switching seats where he's sitting at home. He's not at the game. He's switching seats to try to change the mojo, and that is something my sister does as well.
I get that.
The latest text he just sent minutes ago is, I may never smile again. And my sister just chimed in about 15 minutes ago. I am no longer watching the game. Horror story, Steelers apparently have forgotten how to play football. And there it is.
I mean, they threw an interception in like the end zone.
Yeah.
So
And I wanted to give Mason Rudolph a shout out, hoping the game was close.
Yeah.
That ever since he's gone 3-0, inserted into the starting lineup, they've scored 12 more points a game. They've thrown for 100 more passing yards a game. But this is playoff time, and it is the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
And sis, I didn't even bother to watch Miami because, well, I knew what was going to happen. So I'm sorry. Yes, we always want to believe, though.
We do.
We always want to believe.
Unless you're CB and I and you're a Giants fan.
then
But
yeah.
let's just talk.
Then you have no belief left.
Nope.
They've sucked it out of you.
I did say that they beat the Patriots, though, right? Took away that
Those were the
undefeated
good old days.
season.
Yeah. Who knew that they were the good old days
Yeah.
until
Until Danny Dimes. Gotta love him. Gotta love him.
Danny Dimes, and here we go. All right, so Jared Mayo, we already talked about. One shout out here, because we're still in the third quarter, is to Marcus Stroman. Yep, I just threw baseball out there. I'm doing it for CB because she said he wants to play for the Yankees, but he's probably not going to. He signed with the New York Baseball Yankees for 2 years,
I was
$37
shocked by that,
million.
actually.
I went into work that next morning, and I do adore my friends. I truly do, but I had to laugh. I did. She's sitting in her little pod area, ready to go for the day, and I said, I got 2 words for you. Marcus Stroman.
and I said don't. I said don't.
She also said it's way too early for this.
I knew exactly where you were going in that minute, and I was like, I can't. I thought we were
I
I thought we were
apologize.
safe from him.
You did.
Granted, the contract's not terrible.
No, it was actually a lot
It
better
could be
than
worse.
I thought. Yeah.
Could be worse, but still not great.
Here's one other little nugget as we're still in the third quarter. Steve and Brian Belichick Did you know that they were on? His, okay.
Yep.
They have the opportunity to stay on Coach Mayo's staff.
Oh, okay.
They have grown very close. Steve Belichick has been the defensive assistant with the Patriots since 2012. He's put some time in. Most recently serving as the defensive play caller and linebackers coach. Brian Belichick has been New England's safeties coach since 2020. And Steve Belichick has become very close with Mayo. So let's see if they stay in New England or go join their dad.
Right.
That's a storyline that we are going to follow. I think that one is interesting. So with that being said, we're not at the end of the third quarter. We're actually ahead of ourselves, believe it or not.
Wow.
But we have a lot to talk about because the last quarter in itself was going to be spent only on Wildcard weekend. What else can we spend it on? Everybody is going batshit crazy. On the internet.
Yeah,
I watched so many different shows today, and everybody wants Mike McCarthy's head on a platter. Damian Woody.
Valid.
Damian Woody, I love listening to him on ESPN as well. Very soft-spoken for a big, rugged dude. He said the Cowboys got their asses kicked.
They did.
Yeah,
the final
that was
score
all
is
he
not
could say.
Indicative
of how the game was at all.
because
they never had that game.
No.
They were out-coached and outclassed was the other things that were being said. I also, Autry, thank you for sending me the cycle of the Dallas Cowboys. CB is going to get it up on the screen. No hurry, CB, at all, because we've got plenty of time to talk. But the Cowboys cycle season starts, beat up on bad teams, fans get delusional. We them boys, this is our year, and then we choke in the playoffs. So that is the cycle of the Dallas Cowboys. True. I understand, because as I'm reading this, I'm thinking we're talking about the Dolphins. Beat up on bad teams, fans get delusional. Yeah. That's Miami. And the Dolphins have not won a playoff game or gotten beyond that first round in 23 years. That's the active streak. That's a record for the Miami Dolphins, not the Cowboys. Wow. But we're talking about a team now that has won 12 games the last 3 years in the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
I was expecting you to play taps right now, too, CB. I'm not going to lie. Dak Prescott.
No, it would be something much more jubilant than that.
Dak Prescott quoted, "I'm shocked. It's beyond my comprehension, and I sucked tonight." Dak Prescott is taking it.
Yep.
For the team.
Yep, he is.
Yep.
He 100% is.
He is 100%. We're talking about a team that Prescott had a league-leading 36 touchdown passes, so that was improvements with McCarthy play calling. Lamb's production, Micah Parsons' career-high 14 sacks, Deron Bland, league-leading 9 interceptions, and an NFL record 5 pick-6. The Cowboys have 9 players named first or second team All-Pro. And C.D. Lamb says, nope, none of that matters.
Nope.
17 weeks is a season of its own, and then you got 4-week season after that. So whatever you do in those 4 weeks, I mean, that's how you'll be remembered. 100. So the players are taking it.
Yep.
Today, Jerry Jones met with the team, had his meeting, and then after that to follow was exit interviews for the players with Coach Mike McCarthy. Who do you put the biggest blame on? Because we can go down so many different avenues. So many different avenues. I hear Mike McCarthy. I hear Dak Prescott. I hear Dan Quinn. I hear Jerry Jones as well. And I don't know who gave, I think it was Marcus Spears, and it was great. It was fabulous. He's like, the 49ers go out and they get Christian McCaffrey last year. They go out this year and they bring in Chase Young.
Right.
Even Shaquille Leonard, who was booted out of the Colts facility, who was a really good linebacker, went to the Eagles.
Yep.
And name me one linebacker on the Cowboys. I can't name one.
Right.
Nope.
And the goal line stance, the goal line that Marcus Spears showed, there's a linebacker that is 3 yards deep in the end zone, and that linebacker is a safety.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't a whole lot of good linebackers left.
Yeah.
So I can blame Dan Quinn, but I can also blame Jerry Jones for
Right,
not
for
bringing
not going
in
out
some
there.
girth.
Yep.
I mean, do you then take Micah Parsons off as a defensive end and make him the linebacker? So at the second level, you can stop the run.
Right.
Because nobody stopped Aaron
Nope.
Jones yesterday.
Nope.
DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons are great defensive ends.
Yes.
But what do you have at that second layer?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
And that's
They
what we
lost
saw.
they
their
took
middle
advantage of it.
linebacker
Yeah, and that's what we
and,
saw the the last few games that
yeah.
they were playing was that they had holes, and the hole
Yep.
was
Yep.
the run
Yep.
defense.
Yep. And
And
Green Bay had a great game plan.
they did.
Absolutely.
And you
Great
lost
game
your
plan.
middle linebacker midpoint, little over midpoint. You never went out and tried to get a middle linebacker.
Yep.
And Leonard was there.
Right.
He's not Van Der Esch, but he's a body, and he's
Yeah.
a big, rugged body. So what say you guys? I'm going to stop because we can go 100 different ways with
we
this.
definitely could. I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, to be honest. I do think Mike McCarthy is done there. Like,
Yeah.
he's just not getting it done. You can compare the Cowboys to the New York Yankees. If you don't win,
And the Dodgers.
Yep.
right, and the Dodgers. If you don't win, the season is a
Yep.
bust. Like, if you do
Yep.
not win a
CD
title.
Lamb said
Yep.
it best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next 4
And
weeks.
it's the same reason why we want Aaron Boone gone and
Yep.
Brian. Like,
Brian
he's
Cashman,
not. They're not winning. Mike McCarthy got brought in to win,
Yep.
and he hasn't done that.
Right.
So he's part of the problem. Everybody is going to blame Dak Prescott. Did he play great? Absolutely not.
No.
But I agree with your assessment. The defense was terrible.
Awful.
It was awful.
And can we
Sucked.
blame Dan Quinn if he doesn't have the personnel?
Right. I mean, you
Because
work with what you
right.
got.
Right.
But the Green Bay Packers defense is so young. That whole team is so young. They're going to be scary. That is
They're the youngest team, right?
Yeah, they're the youngest team in the
Yes,
NFL.
youngest team in the NFL.
Jordan Love played like
Like they were
Like
winning
Brett Favre.
veteran.
Like
Yeah.
they were
Can we say
winning that
Brett
game
Favre?
from the very
Oh,
first
yeah.
play. Like they went in and they're like, "This is
they
our
won the
game."
flip. They wanted the
Yep.
ball. Went
Yep.
right down the
Went
field.
right
So
down the field.
what happened though? Because Green Bay's defense was lit up by Baker Mayfield when they played Tampa.
Yep.
Lit
Yeah.
up. He had
Yeah.
the top QB rating when they played. When DeVito and Bryce Young, I'll call him Danny DeVito, but it's Tommy
you.
DeVito. When Tommy DeVito and Bryce Young played Green Bay, they were named the offensive players of the week.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did they just go in and say, F this, we have
Yeah.
nothing to lose?
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
no one thought they were going to win.
How many quarterbacks do you see throw off their back foot?
Right?
The whole
With mustard and
game.
ketchup on it.
Yeah.
The whole game.
He was impressive. He was
Yeah.
very impressive.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you do, at Luke Musgrave, there was
Yeah.
not a defensive back.
Like,
he
what-
sat there and ate a hot dog and said, I'm going to eat a hot dog, catch the ball, and then I'm going to run
Yeah.
in. And we did not see a Cowboy jersey.
No.
No.
That's
No.
a
So bad.
16-game home winning streak by the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. What?
2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't bring back the band. You
No.
can't.
No.
Nope. You can't. I think they got a clean house. I really
Yeah.
do. I think they got to
Dan
focus on their
Quinn's gone.
defense for sure. Dan Quinn's gone.
Yep.
McCarthy's gone.
Dan Quinn has 3 lineups
Yep.
or 3 interviews lined up for a
Yep.
head coaching job. If you're a GM of one of those 3 teams, are you a little weary right now?
Oh, I have been anyways
Yep,
to have
I
him
do.
be any sort of head coach for sure. But I mean, I look at Wink Martindale. I mean, who on the Giants defensively
right?
can you name?
Other than Thibodeau was the only one I could give you.
But the Giants
That's it.
defense was the bright spot of the season.
Absolutely.
So, and then you compare with what Quinn did with what he had. So to me, I mean, it just showed
Yeah.
right there is your answer.
Right.
So,
Right.
and do I think Dak Prescott is the quarterback that's going to lead them to the Super Bowl? I do not.
No.
So Dan Orlovsky is saying get rid of all 3.
Yeah.
He's talking Quinn, McCarthy, and Prescott.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I thought Stephen A was going to fall out of his chair.
Sure.
He kind of did. Dak is owed. Well, we might as well just say $60 million for next season. But there's no. Well, you're going to have to draft one. Or
Right.
let's not forget, Trey Lance is in Dallas.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I keep
exactly.
forgetting that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Going
So we're not
into the
even.
season,
I
they
take
were like,
back what
oh,
I said. You
yeah,
don't have to
Dak
draft
is on
one.
a short
No.
leash.
Yep. So there sits
We said
Trey
that
Lance.
when they brought Trey
Right.
Lance in. We're
That
like,
Dak
oh,
was
Dak's on a short leash.
So we didn't think we would be talking about Trey Lance. I thought they would be getting ready for a divisional playoff game at home. I really did. And major kudos to the Green Bay Packers.
Chelsea Perry says Packers are 5-0 at the Cowboys. We've won more playoff games at the Cowboys Stadium than the Cowboys have.
Yep.
Love it.
Damn.
Nice job, Tax.
Damn.
Good job, Tax.
And what did
Mic
we say?
drop.
They were 10-1 over the last how many years? The Packers.
Yeah.
You saw the record and you went, okay, but I said to DJ Hardacre, who's a huge Cowboy fan, I thought, I'll admit it, I saw a different Cowboys team this year. At home, Wheels is going to say. And she's right.
Yep.
And they're home. So that's
Right.
where my
That's
mind
the only
was
reason I
like,
picked them.
well,
Yep.
how the heck they got that 2 seed? They fell into it.
Yep.
The Eagles choked. So they got 2 home games.
Yep.
Can they go to San Francisco and beat San Francisco? Probably not. But I said they were going to win.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, so enjoyed watching that Packers team.
Oh,
They're so
loved it.
fun.
Same.
So fun. And youngest team in the NFL. There's like 6 kids that can catch the ball.
Yeah.
And I'll call them kids. I can at my age. That can catch the freaking ball. Luke Musgrave comes back. Tucker Kraft. You've got 2 tight ends. 2 tight ends. Set for years to come, and the receivers are phenomenal. If Aaron Jones can stay healthy, I'll bring in another running back.
Yeah,
A.J. Dillon is a little bit dinged up, but other than that, it is the turning of the page a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the Houston Texans, we all and everybody on ESPN picked Cleveland.
Except for CB.
No, oh, I'm sorry. CB picked. She changed her pick. My bad. We picked them. Everybody on NFL Live, they did a tape. They showed it the day before, and everybody picked Cleveland. I personally didn't even think it was going to be a close game.
Me either. With their defense,
Does Coach Ryan's
that's a pick out of my heart, not out of my head.
Yeah.
So when you had said who's going to throw some interceptions that could cost them, we said Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But we weren't worried.
No.
Because of that defense.
Yeah.
They dropped 45. Was
45.
it 45?
Yep.
I thought that Dolphins game was bad. 45-14?
Yeah, it was bad. 2
Oh
pick
my
sixes
good
on
God.
consecutive.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And that was the game.
That was the
so
game.
that answered CB's amazing question
Yeah.
of what quarterback, at least in the first
Yeah.
round.
Flacco, you were absolutely right.
So there's a young team.
That was so fun to watch.
Young team.
They're going to be so
And
good.
Coach
too.
Ryan's rookie coach
Yep.
maybe should get coach of the year.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I
in the
was all
running.
with Cleveland and Coach Stefanski getting
Yeah.
it. Young team, 2 young receivers that we talked about, maybe getting 1,200 yards apiece. Packers' youngest team. And then you flip the page to last night. And what about these Detroit
What
Lions?
about them?
Oh man, what that best game of the weekend?
Best game of the week.
Loved
Best
it.
game of the weekend.
Those fans deserve it. Jared Goff deserves it.
Yep.
I mean,
Eminem was hiding the whole game in his
Eminem,
hoodie because
love
he
him.
wanted it so
Love
bad.
him.
So bad.
I'm so happy for the
Same.
city of Detroit.
Same.
Me too.
So happy for
Same.
them.
I think we should take our show on the road and go to the draft, which is being held in Detroit.
I agree.
Yo.
I don't remember the name of Eminem's restaurant, but I want to go
Mom
there.
spaghetti.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Did you
you.
see those grilled cheese sandwiches
Yeah,
with spaghetti
let's
in
go.
the middle?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go is
Road trip
right.
is right. Love
oh
it.
my goodness. I was at 32 years.
Yep.
First playoff win in 32 years. The best thing for me was when the game started and they already have the banner hanging for 2023 NFC North champs.
Yep.
Usually at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
I laughed my tail off
Loved
and
it.
loved it at the same time. As much as I love Matthew Stafford,
Yes.
who played a freaking hell of a
He
game.
did. He
And
is
props to
a
him,
warrior,
man.
man.
His hand. Did
Yeah.
you see his hand?
Did you see
Ugh.
the cleat shot too?
Yeah.
When he stepped, and did you
Yep.
see his head when he hit?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Thought that was
everything.
that guy
concussion.
is tough as they
Yeah.
come right there.
He
Yep.
really
Yep.
is, and that guy
Yep.
was slinging it around like he was 25
Yeah.
again.
You see that
His
no
arm-
look?
Yep.
It's like,
And
I mean,
the,
that was
the
Patrick
arm
Mahomes.
angles, man. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I went into that game knowing I couldn't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I also was like, I love them both.
Yeah.
Me too.
Same.
But
Wasn't
found
happy with
myself
either.
quickly cheering for Detroit. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's happening.
And I mean, Barry
It's
Sanders
happening.
was there.
Yep.
Calvin Johnson was there.
Right.
It was
Wasn't
just
it great
so
to see them?
awesome to see them.
And,
And
the
then
owner,
the
Mrs.
fan.
Ford's up there.
Yeah.
Oh, the
The
fan.
fan who had what 66 years
Yes.
of
Saw the last
season tickets
championship
or whatever.
or last
whatever.
win.
Yep.
That
However
was
many
great.
seasons.
And again, Puka Nakua.
Oh man,
I'm telling you.
Playoff
what a s-
record. 9
He's a stud,
catches for 181 yards and
No
one
one can
TD.
tackle him, man.
And the whole game, I kept going.
yeah.
And the one that Stafford slung in the fourth quarter, and they had double or triple teamed him.
Yep.
Great throw.
Jumped up and got
But
it.
that's pure hand strength.
Yep.
That guy got beat to he went into the blue tent as well because he got nailed on the sideline.
Yep.
And the announcers weren't talking about him. Like, they might not see. He just got freaking pummeled on the sideline. He took it right about here, helmet, went in the tent. He's right back out on that field too. Those two teams just blew my mind. Yeah, they just blew me away.
Yep.
Great game.
So now we've got the 2 seed gone, and the Detroit Lions are
have
the
home
3
field.
seed.
Yeah.
Home field, and they will play the winner of the Eagles-Bucks game.
Yep. Love it.
Yep.
Like,
I
how
love it,
exciting for them.
Yeah.
Right?
First home game.
And then they get
home
another
playoff
one.
game.
Like, they must have been, they were probably more excited than us that
Oh,
Dallas
God.
lost.
yeah.
And they kept trying. What I also absolutely loved was I thought that the weakness of the Lions is their defensive back.
Correct.
They get, Nakua, 181 yards. CD Lamb got like 300 yards, I swear, a few weeks back. But Aaron Glenn, it was bend, don't break.
Right.
And the Rams got in the red zone 3 times in that second half. Bend, don't break.
Yep.
So hats off to Aaron Glenn, who was a hell of a DB in his days, who is the defensive coordinator of the Lions. I thought he did a great job. But everybody built the game up, meaning, ESPN, CBS, whatever. It's Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford. Got traded. Jared Goff was a throw-in. Matthew Stafford got his championship, which is kind of what you wanted for Stafford anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So after the game, they had Goff on Aiden Hutchinson, who is a goddamn
He's
beast.
a stud.
Oh, my
Rookie?
gosh.
Beast. Or is he in his second year?
Second
year.
year.
Okay. And Amon-Ra St. Brown with his blue
Oh, my
hair, which
gosh.
was fabulous, because when they needed that first down, who did they throw the ball
Right.
to?
The guy
man.
not going to the Pro Bowl.
The guy not going to the Pro Bowl. Ding, 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 ding. And they're interviewing Goff. How does this feel? It's a payback. It's a revenge. And all he just kept saying was, this is about the city of Detroit.
Right.
This is about these fans, and this is about our football team. And he's so well-spoken. He didn't show much emotion, but when he left that interview and went towards the tunnel and he threw his towel up in the stands, he finally just let out a yell. And he got into that locker room where everybody was waiting for him. And it was all about him.
Yep.
Coach Campbell made it all about him.
It
Did you
was
see
awesome.
the game ball he threw at him?
Yep.
Did you see how fast he threw that at him? I was like, oh, geez, I thought he was going to get black and blue.
Right.
I'm like, he's going to hit him in the face. But, Goff, he got good hands, too.
Yeah.
Everything was just phenomenal
It
about
was.
that game.
It really was.
Garrett says Sam Laporta, in my opinion, is the biggest X factor on that team.
And playing with
I'm
that big
shocked.
goalkeeper.
I'm
I'm
shocked.
shocked he played.
God, I love that guy. Thank you for giving Sam Laporta a shout out. Garrett Sicily, I've been a big, big bandwagon fan of Laporta's. He helped. I would have gone where I went in fantasy football if I didn't have him on my team with the 16th round pick.
Yeah.
Just watching the Packers, watching the Lions, and watching the Texans.
Yeah.
Week
It was-
one,
it was
did
great.
anybody think we were going to sit here and talk about the Packers, the Lions, and the Texans?
Nope.
Not at all.
With that being said, can any NFC team beat the Niners?
Joe Edson says go Niners.
They're
I mean,
solid. They're
I think
They're-
it's going to be a closer game with the Packers than people are going to realize. Because
right.
Yes.
Right. Definitely.
I just don't sleep on them. Annie Agar said it was the best day of her life as she's drunk at a bar in Chicago.
I thought about
With a
her
bunch
quite
of-
a bit, and there
with a
goes
bunch of Green Bay
there goes
fans.
Squirrel again. I'm gonna have to take the
Squirrel is 0 for 3 on
So,
staying on that.
I know. I hit the table way too many times. And the last thing I'm going to say, I was going to do a piece on the Dolphins. I'll save it for Wednesday. And what should the Dolphins do? Because we just broke down the Cowboys. I literally think we should talk about what the Dolphins are going to do. But the one player that is back at practice, Mark Andrews.
Yes,
Tight
for
end
Baltimore.
For the Baltimore Ravens. On that note,
Joe Edson is calling for a 10-point win.
10-point win. That I can go with that one. And the last thing, though, don't forget, what team, when we did the point spread, did we go with? We all went with the Rams plus 3. So good job. We should have also gone with the Packers plus 7.5.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
If that game is a 10-point, if it ends up being that, kudos again to the Packers.
Right,
I can't wait to watch it.
I can't either.
I really
I
can't
can't
wait
either.
to
And you have
watch
to
it.
give something to. I mean, the Niners haven't played in a few weeks,
Right.
and the
Right.
Packers just had the best game of their season.
Right.
So
And again, 7th seed moving on.
Yeah.
I forgot how many years it's been since a 7th seed knocked off a 2. I heard it about 5 times and now I'm forgetting it. But your confidence is at an all-time high.
yeah,
Right.
Good God.
It's
Them
the
and the-
first time a
yeah.
7 seed has beaten a 2 since they changed the playoff format.
The playoff format. So you're going out there with a boatload of
Yeah.
confidence.
Yep.
A boatload of confidence. Jordan loves playing the best ball. Aaron Jones is as healthy as he's been.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like Matt LaFleur said, there's a lot of tread on that tire still. He missed a lot of time this
Yeah.
year, so he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of the Steelers-Bills game if it is a game. And I do think that Bucks-Eagles game is going to be a good one. I really do.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope
same.
it is. And we'll be back on Wednesday at 5:30 to talk about tonight's games and look forward to the divisional round next weekend. Have a great Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll see you Wednesday night.